The forest was dense, an impenetrable wall of trees and shadows that seemed to stretch endlessly into the horizon. The sun, hidden behind a thick layer of clouds, cast an eerie glow over the landscape. It was the kind of place that whispered secrets and hid dangers in every shadow. Emma had always been a determined girl, but even she had to admit that this was a challenge like no other. Standing at the edge of the forest, she felt a knot of anxiety tighten in her stomach. She had been sent on a mission, one that only she could complete. The village she called home was facing a terrible drought, and without water, the crops would die, and so would the people. The village elder had told her of a hidden spring deep within the forest, a spring that never ran dry. But there was a catch. The forest was known for its treacherous paths, wild animals, and the legend of a creature that guarded the spring. Many had ventured into the forest in search of the spring, but none had returned. Emma knew the risks, but she also knew she couldn't let her people down. She clenched her fist, took a deep breath, and stepped into the forest. The first few hours were relatively uneventful. The path was narrow but clear, and the only sounds were the rustling of leaves and the occasional bird call. But as Emma ventured deeper, the path began to twist and turn, becoming more treacherous with each step. The trees grew closer together, their branches reaching out like twisted hands, and the light grew dimmer. Every now and then, she heard a rustling in the bushes, or the snap of a twig, and she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. The weight of the journey began to press on her. Her legs ached, her throat was dry, and the fear that had been simmering beneath the surface started to boil over. She stumbled on a root and fell to her knees, the pain shooting through her leg like a bolt of lightning. She wanted to cry, to scream, to give up. But then, she remembered the word of God, Philippians chapter 4 verse 14, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." It had been a source of comfort for her many times before, and now, she clung to it like a lifeline. Emma pushed herself to her feet, the verse repeating in her mind like a mantra. The path became even more difficult, but she kept going, one step at a time. The forest seemed to close in around her, the shadows growing darker and the sounds more menacing. But Emma's resolve only grew stronger. She knew that she wasn't alone, that there was a strength within her that was greater than her fear. Hours passed, or maybe it was days. Time seemed to lose all meaning in the depths of the forest. Emma's body was exhausted, her mind weary, but still, she pressed on. And then, just as she thought she couldn't take another step, she heard it, the sound of running water. It was faint, almost imperceptible, but it was there. She quickened her pace, her heart pounding in her chest. The path became steeper, the ground more unstable, but she didn't care. She could see the light at the end of the tunnel, literally. The trees began to thin, and the light grew brighter until she emerged into a small clearing. And there, in the center of the clearing, was the spring. It was more beautiful than she had imagined. The water was crystal clear, sparkling in the sunlight that filtered through the trees. Flowers bloomed along the edges of the spring, their vibrant colors a stark contrast to the dark forest. Emma fell to her knees at the edge of the water, tears streaming down her face. She had made it. But her relief was short-lived. As she dipped her hands into the water, she heard a low growl behind her. She turned slowly, her heart in her throat, to see a massive, shadowy figure emerging from the forest. The creature was unlike anything she had ever seen. Its body was covered in dark fur, its eyes glowed with an unnatural light, and its teeth were sharp and menacing. This was the guardian of the spring. Emma's heart raced as the creature advanced toward her, its growl growing louder. She was terrified, but she knew she couldn't back down. She stood her ground, her mind racing for a solution. And then, she remembered the verse again. "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." She repeated it to herself, drawing on the strength it gave her. The creature lunged at her, but Emma didn't flinch. Instead, She raised her hand and spoke the verse aloud, her voice steady and strong. To her amazement, the creature stopped in its tracks, as if it had hit an invisible wall. It snarled and growled, but it couldn't come any closer. Emma took a deep breath and spoke again, this time with more confidence. The creature seemed to waver, its form flickering like a shadow. And then, as if defeated by an unseen force, it let out a final growl and retreated back into the forest, disappearing into the shadows from which it had come. Emma collapsed to the ground, her body trembling with exhaustion and relief. She had done it. She had faced her fears, drawn on the strength within her, and emerged victorious. The spring was hers. After resting by the spring and drinking her fill of the refreshing water, Emma filled the containers she had brought with her and began the journey back to the village. The path seemed less daunting now, the shadows less threatening. She knew that she wasn't walking alone, God was with her, guiding her through whatever challenges lay ahead. When she finally emerged from the forest, the sun was setting, casting a golden glow over the village. The people gathered around her, their faces filled with hope and gratitude as she shared the water. The drought was over, and the village was saved. Moral lessons learned. 1. Faith overcomes fear. Emma's journey through the forest represents the challenges and fears we all face in life. By holding on to her faith, she found the strength to overcome obstacles that seemed insurmountable. 2. Strength from within. The verse from Philippians 4 verse 13 highlights the importance of inner strength. No matter how difficult the journey, with faith and determination, we can find the strength to persevere. 3. Facing challenges head-on. Instead of running from the creature, Emma faced it with courage. This teaches us that sometimes, we need to confront our fears directly to overcome them. 4. Helping others through personal strength. Emma's journey wasn't just about her survival, it was about saving her village. Her strength and courage had a ripple effect, benefiting everyone around her.
If you'd like to see more of this video, please press the like and subscribe button. See you in my next video. Thank you.